You ever feel like there's a nonstop narrator in your head? One that just never shuts up? Well, today we're diving into a book that takes that voice on, head first. A book that's pretty much changed millions of lives by showing them how to find the off switch. This is our deep dive into Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. This thing is a global phenomenon, but what is it about this book that connects with so many of us? What's the secret sauce? What's the one core idea that gives people a real way out of all the stress and anxiety we all feel? So this is where Tolle really flips the script. He asks us to think about something kind of wild. What if that constant stream of thoughts, the worries, the judgments, that little narrator, what if it's not just a side effect of stress? What if it's the actual source of the whole problem? Okay, so if this inner voice is the problem, what exactly is it? Tolle doesn't just call it thinking. Oh no, he gives it a much more powerful and, honestly, a way more accurate name. A tormentor. Just let that sink in. The voice that replays that embarrassing thing you did 10 years ago, worries about things that will probably never happen, or just criticizes everything you do. Tolle's point is, this isn't just background noise. It's an active force that's causing you real, actual suffering. All this mental chatter is what Tolle calls the unobserved mind. The best way to think about it is like some rogue program running on your computer, slowing everything down. A program you never even installed. And as long as you don't realize it's just a program, well, it's going to stand in the way of any real peace. And right here, this is the huge mistake we all make. We completely identify with that voice. We think, I am my thoughts. But Tolle says, nope, that's the big delusion. Your mind is supposed to be a tool, an instrument you use. The problem is, for most of us, the tool has taken over and is now running the entire workshop. So if we aren't our minds, then what is this false self that's taking control? Tolle gives this case of mistaken identity a very specific name, the ego. The ego is a phantom self. I love that description. It's a total construction, an identity built out of your memories, all the labels people put on you, your job, your history. It's not who you really are. It's just the character you think you're supposed to be playing. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. It's the fundamental choice we have. On one side, there's the ego, always stuck in the past or chasing the future, running on fear and the feeling of not enough. But on the other side, there's your true self, what Tolle calls being. And you can only find it in one place, right here in the present moment. And this is why the ego is so messed up. It completely ignores the only thing that's ever real, right now. It's always whispering, once I get that promotion, or once I find the perfect person, then I'll be happy. But that future then is a mirage, isn't it? It never actually gets here. Okay, so we've identified this tormentor, this ego that's been running our lives. That's the bad news. But here's the good news. Tolle doesn't just diagnose the problem, he gives us a practical, really powerful way to find that off button. The way out isn't some complex 10-year spiritual quest. The key, the entire secret, is hidden in plain sight. It's the present moment, the now. That is the only place you can ever find real freedom. This is the question that changes everything. Think about it. If you can't just decide to stop your thoughts whenever you want, then the mind is using you. So how do you take back control? This right here is the central practice of the entire book, and it's shockingly simple. You just start listening to your own thoughts as if you were listening to somebody else talking. Don't engage with them, don't argue with them, just notice them. The moment you do that, you create a separation. There's the thought, and then there's you, the one who is watching the thought. In that moment of watching, you're free. And when you break that connection, something amazing happens. That constant stream of thinking just stops. For a second, maybe two, you create a gap, a moment of pure stillness. And this isn't some empty void. It's filled with a really deep sense of peace. It's your first glimpse of who you really are underneath all that noise. And you know the best part? You don't need a special cushion or a silent retreat to do this. You can practice it anywhere. By bringing your full, non-judgmental attention to the simplest things, like feeling the water when you wash your hands or noticing each step as you walk up the stairs. You anchor yourself in the now. You're literally pulling energy away from the mind's crazy thinking and putting it back into the present moment. But practicing presence isn't just about escaping stress and anxiety. That's a great benefit. But it's really about what you find when you get quiet. It's about discovering something incredible that has been with you all along. And that leads us to the ultimate reward, the joy of being. To explain what we're all missing, Tolle tells this powerful little story about a beggar who has spent decades, more than 30 years, sitting on an old box and asking people for spare change. So one day, a stranger walks by, but instead of giving him money, he asks about the box. The beggar, who has been sitting on this thing his whole life, just kind of dismisses him. It's nothing, he says. Just an old box I've always had. But the stranger doesn't let it go. He insists. Have you ever looked inside? He asks. So with a bit of effort, the beggar finally pries the lid open, and he's stunned. Inside the box he had ignored for 30 years was an incredible treasure of gold. He had been a rich man the entire time, and he never even knew it. And then Tolle delivers the punchline for the whole book. He says, I am that stranger, telling you to look inside. Not inside some box, but somewhere even closer, inside yourself. And that's the ultimate point. We are all that beggar, sitting on a treasure chest. We spend our lives looking everywhere outside of ourselves for happiness, for security, for fulfillment. All the while, the infinite peace and joy of our true nature, of being, is right here waiting for us just beneath the noise of our minds in this present moment. So, the book really leaves us with this one powerful question. If you could quiet that tormentor in your head, even for just a moment, and actually look within, what have you been sitting on this whole time?